Dale Earnhardt Jr., is on the brink of returning to the NASCAR Cup Series. JR Motorsports' expansion into the NASCAR Cup Series will require the proper conditions and partners, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. says he is not fully dismissing the possibility. Could we see Earnhardt Jr. returning soon? Earnhardt has made it quite obvious where his prior expansion mistakes occurred and why nothing has changed on that front. Earnhardt said on his Dale Jr. Download podcast on Tuesday that the cost of simply having just one car on the grid is prohibitively expensive for him and his family. "They're just too expensive," Earnhardt said. "Right now, the business model looks terrible. When that all gets resolved, the value will then pop a little bit, and I think it just continues to grow annually as it naturally has, right?" Charters were selling for $2 million, $6 million, $12 million, $20 million, $30 and $40 million. And now they've kind of ratcheted back down just a little bit. But because I felt like that was probably more rare if they're selling for $25, $30 million, I feel like that's probably a more realistic value of the charter. Earnhardt has voiced regret for failing to get a charter when the buy-in price was in the single-digit millions, but that moment has passed. Earnhardt is no longer prepared to pay $30 million for the same reasons he was unwilling to spend a few million several years before. Family. "Personally, I would rather do something else with that money for the benefit of my girls," Earnhardt said of daughters Isla and Nicole. "And so I can take that, and there's a lot of investments and opportunities, right? I'm not buying a charter and putting millions of dollars away into something that I can't then recoup or sell for a profit. You know, we've always raced to go win a race and compete, not thinking about it as a way to profit. So I can do that with other investments or whatever for my girls, and yeah. And by the way, that $30 million number is just the buy-in to get into the door to have a single entry. Then they would have to afford numerous $350,000 race cars and the salaries for everyone who works on it in addition to a driver. But it doesn't mean it can't happen, or that Earnhardt can't have a car on the grid. It will require a partnership, an investor, and someone ready to offer the Earnhardts the same level of management as their Xfinity Series squad. It would have to be something like 23 Dolphin Racing, where Michael Jordan and Curtis Polk support the team, while allowing Denny Hamlin to make major management decisions on competitive issues. "Kelly, Earnhardt Miller's sister, and I have talked about getting into it, and we've seen some opportunities to do that, but it didn't work out," said Earnhardt. "We're still at the table, talking to different teams about maybe partnering or investing. We're always open to hearing what someone thinks about our idea of a partnership, but none of them have been like, 'That's it, that's a perfect match, man.' That is what we're looking for." For the longest time, Kelly and I thought we wanted to own and operate a team, so trying to part from that is tough. If we do it with a partner, we're not going to be making any decisions. As the price continues to go up, it gets harder to make that commitment. It is a large amount of money to send off and never see it again. It's not like you send that money off and 10 years later, it's like, "All right guys, I had fun, give me my money back." So they're not spending that money in that manner. It will be interesting to see if Earnhardt Jr. will return soon. What do you think? Could he become a co-owner soon? Another big update is that Todd Gilliland has resigned with Front Row Motorsports and Front Row Motorsports. Bob Jenkins believes Gilliland can lead them to be an annual playoff contender after signing a multi-year contract deal with his emerging star driver. Gilliland, 24, has led a career-high 101 laps and has finished near the front in many races this season. "Todd and his family have been with my family and the team for a very long time," Jenkins stated. "We've watched him grow, mature, and show all his potential behind our truck and car. It's now his time to lead us into our next phase of winning races and being a consistent playoff contender." Gilliland has 2 ARCA Series East championships, 2 ARCA Series race victories, 3 NASCAR Truck Series victories, and 7 top 10 finishes in his first 87 NASCAR Cup Series appearances. He has been with FRM since the launch of its NASCAR Truck Series program in 2020, following in his father David's footsteps as a driver for the Mooresville, North Carolina-based organization. "I want to be at Front Row Motorsports, and I want to be a part of what's happening right now," Gilliland stated. "This is the time to join as a partner, a fan, and watch our next chapter. It's really cool to see it all happening, and I have to thank Bob Jenkins and Jerry Freese for their commitment in taking the steps to make us a consistent winning and playoff organization. It's never easy, but I feel confident in our direction. I'm excited to see what the future holds." FRM presently fields 2 full-time Cup teams, driven by Michael McDowell and Gilliland, as well as a full-time Truck Series entry with rookie Lane Riggs. McDowell's departure to Spire Motorsports at the end of the season cleared the way for Gilliland to take over as team leader. McDowell joined FRM in 2018 and won 2 Cup races, the Daytona 500 and last season on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's road track. The team claims it is now focusing on expanding and developing new business ties for Gilliland's 2025 agenda. We want to build on his momentum, rising star power, and continue our partnerships and build new ones that will allow him to compete for wins, said Jerry Freese, FRM's general manager. Announcing our recent intentions for our growth in 2025 and extending Todd's contract for multiple years allows our focus to aggressively build an even better program for Todd. FRM added that announcements of car numbers and additional drivers will come later once finalized. It will be interesting to see which drivers more switch around, and another to watch for a full-time Cup Series seat will be Shane Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen has been sharpening his abilities in the NASCAR Xfinity Series since his spectacular Chicago debut, hoping to make the jump to the Cup Series full-time. The 3-time Australian Supercars champion debuted in NASCAR over a year ago, winning the inaugural Chicago Street Race. He will attempt to defend his race victory later on July 7th in the Grant Park 165. Van Gisbergen has been totally devoted to mastering a completely new racecraft, particularly oval racing. So far in his rookie Xfinity season, the number 97 Colleague racing driver has had acceptable top 20 results at some of the most difficult ovals on the schedule. Just the oval stuff is so different, Van Gisbergen stated during a media appearance on Tuesday at the NASCAR Productions facility. No matter where you are in the field, you're always racing someone and never seem to be able to get your own air, like you're always racing or lapping people or getting lapped. It's crazy, but the racing is really good. It is good to go to a place kind of under the radar in Xfinity on the ovals and just learn how it all works, and spend a year just studying and learning everything to be better next year. Every time I go out, I feel more and more comfortable and more competitive. The Kiwi driver, on the other hand, has become accustomed to road courses. After his win last weekend at Portland, Van Gisbergen earned a provisional playoff spot. He also had a solid performance in the 5th race of the season at Circuit of the Americas, finishing second, but a 30-second time penalty for shortcutting the circuit on the final lap dropped him to 27th. SVG has just touched the surface of his potential after 13 regular season races, as he continues to learn and polish his talents behind the wheel of a stock car. I'm a conservative person by nature, Van Gisbergen explained. Always by stage 3, I seem to be getting better and better and moving through the field. But that's sort of been my goal. Just finish the races and always be on the lead lap with a straight car, and the results have been getting progressively better and better. Now, in the second half of the year, and then especially when we go back to tracks I've been to, I'll probably start taking a bit more risk. Van Gisbergen is now 14th in the driver standings, but as the season progresses, if his trajectory in oval racing continues to improve in the second half of the year, he might be in position to pounce on the Xfinity Series title. I think there's the Roval in the first round, so that is clearly an advantage for me. The second round, I think it's tough. It would be awesome if I could keep progressing, and by then, I should be a lot more comfortable and willing to push more. I wasn't too bad at Phoenix either, so yeah, anything can happen, and it's awesome to be in it. This weekend, the New Zealander will compete on another road circuit at Sonoma Raceway, where he hopes to win 2 races in a row. What do you think? Will we see SVG be promoted to Cup Series in the upcoming years? And are you expecting some more shocking changes to happen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.